Hi, everybody. My name is Juliet, and this is UX and Tame. And if you haven't subscribed yet, or if you're watching us in YouTube and LinkedIn, don't forget to subscribe so you don't forget to watch any of these episodes. Um, and I think a lot of people, or maybe I do know a lot of people that have switched careers and they're always wondering, what do I need to do to get into UX? Do I have what it takes to get in UX? And I will say that each of our stories are different based on what we have done in the past, what are our strengths, or where we wanted to go. So for me, it's always been really interesting to bring different people to give us those perspectives. So today, we have a guest that we have already talked to her in the past. If you haven't watched the panel about mentorship, I will recommend you to watch it. But we brought her again today because I think her story is really inspiring and really powerful. So let's bring her in so she can tell us about who she is. Hi, Zarema. How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you all. Good morning. It's 10 a.m. here in Texas.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm happy to be here and share my story, and hopefully, it will help more folks to get into UX.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main idea for this. So yeah, why don't we start telling people who you are?
Okay, so I'm Zarema. Originally, I'm from Russia, and I have been living in United States, I think, for about 7 or even 8 years right now. And I'm currently working as a senior UX designer at Entergy.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Let me bring this time. I forget how to bring myself into the into the screen. But okay. Yeah, that's great. A question that I really love and I enjoy to ask people because people usually always surprise me with this is tell me something unique or or fun about you.
Something unique. I don't know how unique is it, but I like mind-boggling things. I like different modern art galleries. When I was 16 years old, first time I went to London, and actually that was the first time I've ever experienced the modern art gallery. I went to such a gallery and I saw all these crazy exhibits. And so every time now when I travel, I try to find something like that to visit. And another thing what I'm fascinated with, and I don't know why, I love Indian and Pakistani fashion. I don't know why, but I'm like, their embellishments on their saris are amazing, and I'm really amazed how those I wouldn't how do you call them, the people who sew? For me, they are like artists when
Yeah,
they
well, yeah, because I don't think that they're seamstress. I don't think it's like you will say that they're designers too, like fashion designers.
fashion designers. They are like artists when they put those ornaments, embellishments, whatever they are doing. It's just
Mhm.
magnificent.
That's pretty cool. Um,
What about you?
okay, that's a good one. No one ever asked me about this. I do have a Ruckus. It's like a 50cc scooter, and I've been riding for I will say now 5 years to and I think it was the best decision that I could have taken in my life is like riding a scooter. I live in Vancouver, so it's really easy to move around, and for summers, it's just so much fun. So yeah, I think it's something that I do pretty much every single day. Like I always find like excuse to ride my scooter. So yeah, thank you for asking. Okay, so let's start talking about your story. How did you get into UX design?
Okay, so before my career in design, I was in finance, and I mainly dealt with business problems. And then I discovered the UX design industry, that it's not only about business, but also solving problems of people. And I just wanted to see like how I can bring impact. And I just decided to make that shift. And here I am in UX design.
Did you do a boot camp? Did you learn it by yourself? Did you go to university?
I went to boot camp. I thought it was worth of my time because I took 6 months off. And actually, that was prior COVID. So I guess I got lucky. I was on campus with real people, with real instructors. That was really fun.
Yeah, definitely jealous because one of my main purposes of going back to school in that came like a boot camp, it was like
Meeting
meeting
people.
people, the atmosphere, like really, like if you have a question, you can just jump into it. Yes, but we ended up my boot camp was in April 2020. So definitely it was everything online, even though believe me, every week the teachers will go, no, I think we're going back to the campus. Don't worry. It's like, okay, it never happened. Um, what did you struggle the most when switching into design and going into tech?
I think lack of guidance, probably lack of mentorship. I didn't know anybody in the industry. So when I just went in to boot camp, and those are the people whom I know, and that's it. So I think that was like the main. If I knew anybody, if I knew more people, that would definitely help.
Yeah, I know, definitely. I think that for me was kind of the same issue. On top it up that just finishing boot camp in 2020, that there was not that many resources or many jobs openings for people who finished boot camp. But how did you overcome this? Like at one point, it's like, what do we do if we don't know anyone on tech
Anyone?
or anyone
Yeah.
design? Yeah.
You like I just tried to utilize every single resource I found. If I found any meetup, and I did my bootcamp in Austin. So if there was any meetup in Austin, I just went there. That was before COVID. I even went on the engineering meetups, which has kind of nothing to do with UX, but we are partnering with them in real life. And I even attended those meetups, and I said, hey, I am a UX designer. I don't understand anything about engineering, but I am here to make connections, because who knows, maybe they know a UX designer. Maybe they are hiring a UX designer. So every single resource I could find, I tried to utilize. I Googled, found articles on Medium. And then I don't know how I found about ADP list. I honestly, I don't remember, but as soon as I found them, I started to schedule those coffee chats, talking to people, reaching out, watching YouTube. Chris Doe, I watched him a lot. I think everybody knows him. He has over 1 million subscribers. So, yeah, like every single resource I could find, I was trying to utilize. But definitely, like if I had friends in the industry, or if I know somebody prior boot camp, or when I was in boot camp, that would really help.
I know that's a great point, and I think there's so many resources out there for people to take, and I will say, yeah, that is labor intensive to do what you're saying that you're doing, like going to all these meetups and meeting people and put yourself out. But as any person going into new industry, we need to make sure that we are connecting with people in the industry to know what they're talking about, what is the next thing that we need to learn, how do we work together. I think we start getting all that technical words that we need to use when we go to interviews or start networking. YouTube is there for free, and there is so many things that you could take and learn. Sometimes it's hard. It's like what is worth it to watch, what is not worth it to watch. But that's why you go in communities and you ask people, and people will start telling you, "Hey, why don't take a look at this or go and read this." Blog or whatever. So I think community is going to be like a great way to find
To
great
find.
resources.
Actually, one thing what I've also done, because at first I couldn't understand, do I want to be a UX researcher or UX designer? What do they do exactly at work? Is it different? And when I was talking to people, I was scheduling these coffee chats on ADP list, and I was just asking people straight, like, you are the UX researcher. What exactly do you do? What do I need to be UX researcher? And then I ask the same questions for the UX designers, just to understand, and to get a bigger idea what is the job about, what exactly I want to do. So that's
Yeah,
really helped.
yeah, it's so hard to know. And thinking of boot camps, they just give you all this information, and then sometimes you go so fast that you don't have time to digest. It's like just go 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 go, and then you finish and it's like, oh, what do I want to do? There is all these job openings. Do I apply to those, all of them, or where should I apply? So I think just connecting with people and having those informational interviews about what they do day to day, it will give you a good idea of where you want it to go. Like the size of the industry. Is this a startup? Or do you want to do maybe freelance, big company, public sector, private sector? So connecting with people will give you the chance to know more about what you wanted to do. Um, that was definitely one of my bigger learnings from changing careers. Is like I want to be in a place where I enjoy what I do. I did for so long something that it was not um, my passion, and it is hard to know if you don't go and ask people about what they do and how they do it every day. So yeah, that's a great one. And I think a lot of, again, I mentioned at the beginning, uh, I have known a lot of people that have switched careers from different industries, that they do something completely different than in tech. Yes. You said that you did the gas industry, a little bit of data, business. How did you utilize the knowledge, those
Mhm.
skills, to switch them into design?
That's actually very helpful. I think every skill which you got prior UX design can be helpful in your UX design career. For example, in finance, right? I worked a lot in Excel sheets, and you might think, okay, where would you utilize this Excel sheets in UX design? But you can. So recently, I was doing a research on state requirements, and I needed to analyze like how many requirements are in this state and how many are overlapping with another states. And I actually went to Excel sheet and I just wrote the formula, and it calculated. So and then I used it in my presentation for PM. So yeah, like every single skill you've known before can be really useful later, and you never know when.
You never know when, and I think it's important when changing careers, kind of write down all these strengths or skills or things that you have learned in the past, and then when you start going and talking to people, then you realize, oh, I have done all of these the things that you were telling me that you're doing at work. But I think what people is struggling is not having the skill, but is how to tell people I have this skill, even though that is not in design.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can use it in design. So I think that is storytelling um, is hard. So how do you explain people is like, yes, I do have the skill and I know how to do it. Let me prove it to you. I think that's where people is struggling. So what did you do to convince people?
Yeah, so you actually can create a story of every previous job you had. So I would recommend first just Google any job requirement for UX design, or just like UX design skills, like what is needed, and then you will see a list of skills. For example, um, I will tell about my example. For example, UX designer needs to have communication skills. So I was in finance, right? I can say, okay, so previously I worked in finance. I communicated budget decisions across multiple departments. So I've worked with different departments and I communicated with them. The next skill, UX designer needs to have analytical skills. I've also done market research and analysis, and what I'm bringing into UX industry is communication and analytical skills. On top of it, I'm really interested in solving problems, and I have empathy, listening skills, and that is why I am here in UX industry. And like, hire me, I'm a great candidate. So
No, and I think for all of this is really important to take the time to again have that list of skills. And then it's like, how can I translate for people to understand? Because just saying, oh yeah, I know how to communicate with people. I mean, anyone could
anyone
say
can.
this. Yes. And for me, I use a lot of like the STAR method. So what was the situation? What was the task asking? What was the action that I took? What was the result? And if you use this formula with your example, you can pretty much do everything and kind of start bringing all your experience from the past into when you are networking, when you are talking to people. Because sometimes we're like, oh, we just do this when we are interviewing. More than practice, how to deliver this storytelling is going to be much easier when you go to interviews. So pretty much just take the time to know yourself. I feel like sometimes that's really hard. Yeah, like you go to work and I do all these things and then I forget what I said exactly. And then people ask me, hey, can you tell me a time when you blah blah blah? And it's like, whoa, I don't know. So take the time to know yourself. I think that will be a good one. Something that I know about you too is that you love networking. Is kind of one of your superpowers. So tell us about how to start networking from zero. Is intense, I think so. And if you give us 3 tips to be successful when networking.
Okay, so tip number one, push yourself. Always push yourself. And I have a story for that. When I was in boot camp, we worked on events planning app for the event planners. So basically for people who plan events. And on Meetup, I found one event, which was, I think it was IBM one. So I went in there, and again, event was not connected to UX design. I think it was something about blockchain or some stuff which I don't even understand, to be honest. So I went there, like also to get some new information, connect to people. And when the event was over, you know that the people they start to get away the tables, the chairs, whatever, and then I came to the person who was actually an organizer of that event, and that was one woman who is working at IBM. And I asked her, like, "Hey, I am a UX design student. Is it possible that I take your interview sometime? I am like building this fake mobile app for event planners." And she said yes. And I spent with her 15-20 minutes asking her questions, and this is how I got an interview from her, and I put it in my case study in the bootcamp. So I think that you should always push yourself. You should always reach out to people. The least what they can tell you is no, but you are losing nothing. But if they say yes, maybe it will grow into a good connection. And even if it doesn't grow into a connection, like in my case, it didn't really grow into a connection, but I got all the insights which I needed for my portfolio at that time, for my junior portfolio. So that's the tip number one. Do you have anything to add to it?
No, I love it. And I think it's just sometimes you think, oh, what the other person will say. Like, I mean, that's okay.
It
I mean,
doesn't
if you want
matter.
to go for it,
Honestly.
if you stay in the stage of like what they will say nothing because you are not talking to them. Of course, you have to be always professional and making sure that you're listening to what they're saying, and if they say no, don't push, just move to someone else and then just keep practicing. Maybe you just need to get better in how to deliver the story. If it's like, I don't know, like PM, maybe your story will be a little bit different than if it's a developer or whoever it is. I always try with this, like thinking that is like dating. When you're dating, you try different things and you say, okay, that person, if I will be talking to you, you like art. Not that I know much about art, but then I will ask you about your background. Oh, is that Monet? It's like, oh, let me see. It's pretty cute. Did you paint it? Did you do it? What did you like it? And how we can start connections, finding something that we like similar, and then that will be maybe easier. You try different things. So yes, that's the first one. Okay, second one.
Second one, I would say be friendly and support others, because I think we should support others, and it really pays off with time. So when I was junior designer, I saw a lot on LinkedIn when other junior designers, they asked for help, maybe with survey, maybe with user testing or something. And I was usually providing that support until there was one person who asked for the usability testing people, and I volunteered. I helped him. And then the next time I needed help and I couldn't find people, and I was like, I'm just gonna straight reach out to him, because one time I spent like 30 minutes with him. You mean like maybe he can help me? And he answered back immediately. He helped me with the testing. And after the testing, he told me, like, I actually got the job, like my first job in UX. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, how did you do that? And then he started sharing with me all his tips. And not only that, he also showcased me his portfolio, his presentation portfolio, and how he was answering the questions and etc. And that was really helpful. And that is why, like, you should always connect to people, because you never know whom you help, who can help you. So we are here, we need to support each other. So the second tip will be support each other, be friendly.
And I think, I don't know if you feel the same. I feel like the industry where I used to work before, that it was retail, it was not this friendly and they were not this open to help people. And I think for me, this has been the biggest thing in tech, is how people really want to help each other and want to just be there. And sometimes and I mean, we talk about this when we were talking about mentorship. Like, you always think, oh, I need to be like, I don't know, director of design to mentor or give a hand. And then
Yeah.
you realize that some people just want, hey, can you help me with my homework? I need to find people for my usability testing or discovery, and they just need that. And then you start finding connections, and then, like, you ask them, is like, how did you get the job? What did you do? um, People in higher positions wouldn't know how to get entry level jobs or how to connect with people, because they already did that so long ago. So I think, yeah, being friendly, you never know. Again, I think that's what I like about this. You never know.
Yeah.
Number three, what is your number three?
Number three, I would say connect to locals. If you are located in some city, for example, I'm in Dallas, and I've already get acquainted with two people. So I just reach out to a UX director from one company, and I said, "Hey, I just recently moved to Dallas, and I just would like to connect, and like, are you open to the coffee chat?" And the person said yes, but she was really busy. She scheduled a coffee chat with me a month later, but still she scheduled it with me. So at that time, I already got the job. I was working, but then next year happened, and she wrote me a message actually, like, "Hey, my team like is hiring a new UX designer. So if you would like to come to the interview, like, send me your portfolio." And I'm like, wow, my network finally started, like, giving some fruits. So you never know what will happen. I decided to stay with my company, but what I'm saying, like, when you reach out to local people, you know that you are here, you are new here, so they might consider you first to bringing up to the interview. So I would definitely like reach out to locals too. Just don't be afraid. Again, the least they can say no to you. And then I also reached out to another UX director from UX, also he in Dallas, just for the coffee chat. I wasn't asking for any job or something. It was Saturday morning like this one, but that one was even 9 a.m. So I woke up at 9 a.m. I was also nervous, very nervous, because he was a UX director with a, like, very big title. I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, what I'm going to tell him, like, well, how it's going to be. But then I just grabbed my, cup of coffee. I just said, hey, I'm Zarema. I just moved to Dallas, just decided to know people around me, like, how are you doing, like, what projects are you working on? I am a UX designer in this company, blah blah blah. So we started talking, and again he was like, hey, like, if you are in Dallas, my team is hiring, like, you can send me your portfolio. If you are a good fit for us, like, you might come for the interview. Like, it wasn't a promise that he's already taking me, but it's a chance, to get an interview. So reach out to locals. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid. And again, like you say, finally my networking is paying off. Sometimes when we are networking, it's like, oh, I want something to happen tomorrow. I totally understand that sometimes when we are looking for a job, it's desperate times and we need things to start happening now. But at the same time, start building slowly the networking and connecting with people, friendships, like professional friendships or any friendship doesn't build like from nowhere. It takes time to know each other. And again, maybe this person, it won't be for today, but they know you already, and maybe in 3 months, 6 months, or whatever you need to, they're going to be there and say, hey, maybe we have a space for you now. So just keep building those relationships. But I know sometimes what happened too is you network with people and maybe you don't say what you should say. You are not being professional. Like, how to be professional when networking and how you can use that for the future.
Okay, I think the first thing when we are meeting each other, the common thing is that we are UX industry professionals. The first thing, that's what we are, not friends at first. We are professionals, and uh, we look at each other as professionals. So yeah, always be professional, and try to be easygoing person, because each of us would like to work with an easygoing person. I think the biggest tip which I have, and I utilized it myself always, when I reach out to a person, for example, for the UX manager, right? And I say, like I reach out to locals here, like, hey, do you have a time for coffee chat for 15 minutes? If it's 15 minutes, just try to talk, to chat with the person only for 15 minutes. Before the 15 minutes ended, like 2-3 minutes before, wrap up, say thank you very much, like we don't have enough time. Usually they would say, oh no, I can go longer. Do not do that. Never do that. They invest their free time in you. They are not getting paid for that. And the worst thing what might happen, maybe they were excited to speak with you longer, but what if their energy goes down, and by the time you would thank them for the coffee chat and say okay bye, you might drain their energy, and this is not how you want to end it. So if you have this 15 minutes only, keep it 15 minutes, keep it professional. So just say okay, thank you, and like I will reach out later, like if you still have the questions which were not asked. And I know this also from my mentorship, because when I had 30 minutes and when the student goes over, at first I was also happy, like yeah, I'm helping the person, but in the end I was so drained. um, just keep in mind this timing. I might talk a lot about timing, but like this is, I think the time is the biggest resource what the person can give you, so please respect it. And
Yeah.
probably,
No,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, and probably that's why people reach out back to me, like, because I don't drain their energy, I keep it positive. Start
Yeah.
positive and positive.
Yeah, finish positive. Yeah, that totally makes sense. They want to say, okay, let's see. I think there is more that we can talk in the next one. So let's catch up again and start building that the relationship. Yeah, thank you for that.
Maybe it's even better, then you have a reason to reach out again.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me, that's usually a good one to be mindful and being proactive is like when you are networking, how we're going to make sure that we meet next time. Like what are you going to do? So to having a plan of continuing the relationship. Yeah. So that will be another one. I feel like a lot of people maybe they're asking themselves, how did you land at your first job? Like how did you ended up getting there?
yeah, that's actually another funny story. It's also connected to networking. So you know how on LinkedIn, people add us on LinkedIn, and some of them write, "Hey, I would like to be connected," and usually you add them in return, and that's it. Nothing happened. You never get acquainted with those people. You never really got any new connection. So what I do, every time when somebody connects to me, I wrote a small message back like, hey, like, nice to have you in my connections. And then I actually introduce myself. I'm like, I'm Zarema. I'm a UX designer currently working on this project. And what about you? Working on something interesting? And then the people answer you. And I had a lot of messages like that. And one of them actually turned into my first UX job. So again, you never know which one will, bring you the fruits. So one person wrote me on LinkedIn to be connected, and I wrote back like, hey, I'm a UX designer, I'm working on this and this, what about you? And then this person was like, are you available for the coffee chat? I was like, yes, let's do it. And I didn't know that that was the stakeholder of that company, and I was very casual. I was again drinking my coffee early morning. I was like, hey, I'm drinking coffee, what about you? We just chat. He asked me about my work, what I did previously. I was in oil and gas, and they actually had oil and gas projects. And by the end of that chat, I didn't expect that. He offered me a contract, and this is how I started my first UX job.
You,
So
again, you never know. And
never.
I feel what I like about your story is that you're being intentional. Like, even though that sometimes people just connect with you, it's like, okay, connect with more UX designers, with people in the industry. You are being, again, intentional and said, hey, what about you? What do you do? How we can know each other better. So I think that's an important step on networking, is being intentional. Yeah, it's not, we are not just connecting because, like, there is like a why I want to know you, like why this is happening. And but you taking that extra step of asking this person, for sure, when they saw your profile and you have gas um, industry experience, it's like, okay, you could be like a great candidate. But then when you start talking and showing your experience and proving your skills, it's like, okay, yes, definitely she has it. So I think that's a great approach to you never know.
Then, yeah, then another thing about networking, when you connect to people, you can build friendships and you can build support. Even, for example, even if it's not to get the job, but they can help you with advice. Like, I get acquainted with two people who are experts in accessibility. And to tell you the truth, if I have any question, if when I'm working, doing my own job, and I have any questions, maybe I need a new tool to use or something, I usually reach out to them. I was like, hey, could you please advise me something? And then they advise me something. So this is how you utilize your network. You build your network. Just don't be afraid to, to start talking to people first, to
Yeah,
introduce
no,
yourself.
yeah, love it, because again, I feel is really important to have those people on the side that you know that you will get support. That if you have any questions or you don't know how to do it, they will be there for you. The same that you will be there for them. So I think it's a back and forward, of course, relationship. Um, but sometimes what happens is that you start connecting with people, you start applying for jobs, and then people ghost you, or people don't talk to you, or people just reject you. Like, how do you deal with rejection, and how do you empower yourself and learn from rejection?
Okay, I think I'm different from most of the people. I've seen on LinkedIn a lot people complaining that they don't get the answer back. I never rely on the answer back. Like, if I'm interviewing at one company and they are not answering, I go and interview for another company. But I don't know, I guess maybe it doesn't hit me personally that somebody is not answering. Maybe it's just my nature of the character. I maybe not put your hopes too high, because you will always get a better job. So you just do what you do. I think another way how to deal with it and make it a positive experience for you, when you go on an interview, try to learn something new for yourself. So, like, Maybe they ask you a question and you didn't know how to answer. Don't leave it open. Just ask the interviewer in return, like, I didn't really understand this question, or I don't really know how to answer this question because I don't have the experience in this and this. But what did you expect from me to answer? Could you give me, please, an example? And then you learn something from this interview. Even if you get rejected, you actually learned something. So, and this is what I always do. And I can give you an example once.
Yeah. No, I love it. And I think is taking any opportunity for you to learn. And if you go with that mindset or when networking or interviewing, it's like, what can I learn today from this? Like you were saying, like, okay, I don't know how to answer this question, write it down, then go home and said, okay, I could say this. This is how I can use my previous skills and utilize it for the future. So I think any opportunity that comes to you is a way to improve and grow. And if you go with that mindset every single time, you're never feeling like you're going to, or you are losing, or yeah, you're
Losing
lost.
your time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just again a new learning opportunity for you. And you're getting, for me, it's always you're getting closer where you need to go. It doesn't feel at the moment, and it feels like just rejection is coming my way, but I think it's just opening the path to where you really wanted to go on that perfect job at the end of the day. Do you have anything else about rejection? Oh, you want to tell the story?
About rejection. I think that's the main story. Then
That's the
then you
main
don't
story.
then you don't feel like you wasted your time. You actually learned something new.
Perfect. Yeah,
You
cool.
learn.
Being an immigrant in a new country is already not easy. And then let's switch careers. So it's like an extra top of what we're doing. Yes. So if you could give your main three tips that work for you for when switching careers in a new country, what will those three tips will be?
Mm-hmm. Number one, don't be afraid. If everybody else can do it, then you can definitely do it because you're bringing something unique. You came from another culture. There is definitely something in you which can be used in UX industry in the United States. So don't be afraid. Number two, hard work always pays off. I've spent so much time on my portfolio. I was constantly iterating on designs, constantly learning something new, constantly. Like, there was even a time when I was so tired, I wanted to give up, but I knew that I can go, I can push myself. So, and the hard work paid off. And right now I'm a senior UX designer and I'm really happy where I am. But it's all about the hard work. But like, don't be afraid. Do your hard work and keep positive attitude. I know everyone talks about this positive attitude or like be passionate. Every time when you ask an advice, every UX designer in the industry will say, be passionate. And then you're like, well, I'm still jobless. Yes, but this be passionate will pay off, like for sure, like 100%. I promise you, it paid off for every other person who is in the industry right now. It will pay off for you. Just be excited that you will get your job eventually, and you will get there. So,
Oh, we're missing one.
which one?
Yes.
Which one?
Oh no, we're missing three tips. Um you give me two so far. Yes.
Don't be afraid. Push
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes.
Number two, hard work
Oh,
always pays off.
oh, hard. I
Number
see.
three, positive attitude.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Yes. It's like, did I miss one? No, and I think around the positive attitude, I feel like I know sometimes it's hard, but if I come to you and I'm really excited and I'm showing you that I really care about what I'm doing, even though it looks like it's not going anywhere, you can feel that difference in how I connect with you, what I'm saying. So always remember that is always someone in the other side that is looking at you and listening. So again, you never know what this conversation will take us. Um, so yes, go for it, be positive, working hard. I think like working hard is like a tree or like a plant that you put the seed and you put water, you put it in the sun, you don't see anything. And depending of the type of tree or plant, it takes a little more to come out. But then at one point, then you come back and then you see, oh my goodness, it's a tree, it has flowers, it has fruits, and you can see that everything that you have done in the past is there. Your hard work, you can now see it. Sometimes you just have to be a little more patient, depending what you want, depending where you are, but just keep digging in, and you will get there. Something that you mentioned is that now you're a senior designer. So how do we work on that? How do we grow into our career, becoming like an entry level job and then working our way up to senior designer?
Mhm. Well, always do your best. As I said, hard work always pays off. So you just keep working. And by do your best, I mean constantly learn something. So we all UX designers, we come to our job. We might even not know something, but just always learn new things. Always try to educate yourself. Always try to improve something in your day-to-day routine. For example, I do accessibility audit at my job like pretty frequently. However, I subscribe to newsletters. I always try to find new tools to try to enhance the process, and my peers see it, right? And I'm growing my knowledge at the same time I'm helping the company, and this is actually how your PM will notice you, and they will know that you can be a reliable worker. You can get the task even if you don't know the task. They know that you will take the full responsibility, you will do it, like no matter what you will learn. If you don't know something, you will reach out to people. Just don't be afraid again to ask your colleagues, to ask for help. So another thing, always provide support. Again, as for your colleagues, the same for your PM. Even if there is some dirty job needs to be done, as I called, maybe like cleaning Figma files is actually a very hardworking and time consuming, but this is something that needs to be done. Don't be afraid to do that. To do that at your work, like, because sometimes you might think, no, well, why am I spending time on it? Maybe I better build a feature and put it in my portfolio. But actually, when you can support in every single step of the process, people can see it, that you are not that you are really like a hard worker. So another thing, again, for about being positive, there are some employees who are tasked to do something, but they might say, oh, I don't know how to do it, or I don't have the right tools, or please provide me everything. So we are in UX design. We are also the researchers. We do the discovery. Just go do your discovery. You will find, you will uncover it, how to do it. So just be positive. Just go. Don't be afraid to go onto an adventure at your work, and people will notice that, and you will grow.
Yeah, no, and I think just thinking about the reasons why I changed careers, and what I wanted to do something different is like why I couldn't do something before in my job and now I can do it, is like what can I bring on the table that didn't exist. What about if you start thinking maybe there is a process that it could be improved in the team? Can you take over that and say, hey, I think that we can do this better, let's try it out? I think it's just put yourself out, just start doing challenging things that you think that you couldn't do before, but then you're learning and then you're growing. More growth that you have, the team gets stronger. So I think people just want to see that you can go beyond what you're doing at the moment. And for me, this is what I honestly what I enjoy the most about UX at the moment, and working what I do is like there's so many things that you could do. And honestly, I'm in our organization that allows you and give you the space to take into projects and do different things. So at the same time, did you ask about it? They say, hey, can I do this? Don't wait for someone to say, hey, Juliet, can you take over these,
That's
I don't know, QA process or accessibility processes? What about if you just go and say, hey, I learned something new? What about if we try something different? So go for it. And then you will see that you
that's
will grow and people notice. Yeah.
that's a good one. Actually, I didn't mention. I think I've never asked. I just kept learning and then I just bring it to the team like, hey, we can incorporate this and this. Yeah, I think that's the magic of the UX. That
Yeah.
you are the craftsman. You are
Mhm.
constantly learning. You are constantly discovering. You are on your adventure, and then
Mhm.
you know enhance the process.
Yeah, like I think as a designers, we ask a lot of like, why? What are we doing this? Even though maybe the process look perfect, and there is something, there is always something that it can be improved and get better at. So just keep asking yourself like why or how we can do this better. People will notice. Maybe people don't doesn't notice in your team now is something that you can take for your next job, something that you can talk about it. So it's never wasting of time at all. Okay, this is it. But do you have anything else to finish up?
I think I've said a lot already about just stay connected, keep connecting with people.
Yeah.
That's the key in UX.
Yes.
But
And Sarima, you are an ADP list. So if people just wanna find you, just go to ADP list. You can have a one-on-one. But everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoy this type of conversations and you want to keep learning about UX career, just follow UX and Tame. We have one of these chats every single week with different people. For me, it's been really important to bring different type of views, diverse folks, so we learn a little bit of everything. So again, thank you, Sarima. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your long weekend. Yes.
you too. Thank you.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Bye.